Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dylan, and I'm back again with another comic book rant. And today I want to talk about a great book. This has been absolutely fun. Probably my second or third time reading this as well. But this review is gonna be Something is Killing the Children, issues 1 and 2. I did a review for the first one, but I felt like I didn't do any justice. It was actually my first video. I ended up deleting it, but I just reread these, and man, I kind of read them a little bit with barely any light in the room, and man, this was like a perfect scary story. This first issue, the second one's not as dark, but this first issue, because it starts off with the truth or dare. The boys are having a sleepover, and they're playing the truth or dare with each other, and the one kid, he starts talking like his friends are like, tell us one of your dreams, because he tells these crazy stories. But he starts off by saying, I got a story, but this wasn't a dream. And he starts talking about this monster that he was hearing like down in the ravine, and that he saw, and he got super scared, and was like hearing it, like hid under the covers and was hearing it. This art was absolutely beautiful. Like this dark tone of this, I really enjoyed this. The first issue, it knocks you right back. This is a great story, and the second issue, I'd say, is a little bit more. It's getting more into the story, but it was at first when I read this second issue, I was like, man, I like this second issue a lot better. But I went back. Both issues are incredibly amazing. But they definitely, it's a little they're a little different, I feel like. But man, because this is setting it all up, and then this is more getting you're getting to know the characters and stuff, and we're finally getting to know this girl who's on the cover, who's basically a monster hunter. But man, I highly recommend this. With Halloween, a couple days away, I really wanted to put up a little like horror story review, and I've been wanting to do this, redo this review again, and yeah, just the perfect time, But he starts talking about this monster though, and his friends do not believe him, and they're like, bullshit, that's not a dream. It's a dream. If anything, they're like, you're just trying to scare us, because he straight up says, he's like, this wasn't a dream, and he's like, whatever then. He's like, go ahead, you're next, truth or dare. And, then it cuts, because it goes from that dark atmosphere, like they're having like, at the sleepover, to him in an interview room, like all white. It goes all white. And he's being interviewed and asked questions by an officer or a detective. And he's like, I swear it was just a story. Because at this point, there's a lot of kids that wound up dead, and then there's a group of kids that are missing at this point. I forget the exact number they say, but there's like the cop says, he's like, we know it's it's just a story, because obviously the cops aren't gonna believe some monster killed his friends, but he's not really giving them much. So at this point, he might be a suspect. I guarantee he's a suspect, because he was the only one that survived. And basically he says, I didn't see anything. I only heard stuff. He keeps saying he didn't see anything. He like fell down, like he fell like into the creek or something. I forget. He says he falls down though, like 100 yards, and they couldn't see him, and he couldn't see them, but he could hear them screaming. So he starts like going, wailing, so say, crying, because all his friends are dead. And it cuts to 2 weeks later, and this girl, coming out all bloody with a mask on, looking crazy with a machete, and there's just a girl in a little in a little cart. I forget what those are called, a little wagon, and she's like waiting for her. And she's like, is it done or whatever? And then she gets a call from a man named St. George, who I think is maybe, it looks like because she keeps getting these calls, and she writes something down on her arm. So I think St. George is probably her employer, or so, you know, like a manager or something that has her like taking these calls, or he, you know, he takes the calls and then he calls her to go do the job or something. They haven't gotten into that for it in issue 2, but she gets a couple of these calls and she's just like, yeah, okay, I got it, or whatever, you know, like she's just getting info, and then boom, the convo is over. But she gets that call, and then she gets the job basically to go, you know, about James. She hears about James, and then she's gonna go help him because she's a straight up monster hunter is what I'm getting. And I don't know how old she is. She looks like she could be maybe, you know, from 16 to 20. I'm guessing maybe she's like 18 to 20, but she was very young. And then a big thing I actually wanted to talk about, I'm glad I just remembered this, because these boys were, you know, James is the main kid that survived, and they have like a little, like a funeral, like a little pictures and gatherings where you can leave stuff, like a memorial site, and just a nasty bully comes up and he's like, you killed him, right? Just starts screaming, and he's like, you chopped your friends up, just because you didn't like what they said, or because he wouldn't kiss you. And you get to, I thought at first when I read that, I'm like, this is just a mean bully teasing him. But the fact is that James actually did like one of his friends, and because he says to the girl, she asks, he's like, were they sorry, was that one of your friends? He's like, yeah. And then he says someone specific, and he's like, was he more than a friend? Because it just seems like it's not established out in the open by James, but he's a gay character. He's a young boy, and maybe he's not sure, but he says that he's like, he was more than a friend, but I don't think he knew it. But it's weird because this bully, he says it, so maybe he's openly gay, so more people in the school know, or I don't know, because that's a weird one. But because he says, he's like, oh, that kid never called you any names or anything, what, just because he wouldn't kiss you? And he was just totally, you could even tell that this kid is an asshole, because the principal even says, he's like, geez, why didn't you should have hit him, kid. He's like, if there was any kid in the whole school that deserved it, he did for sure. And the principal is literally like letting off his frustrations on the kid. It's quite hilarious. And you find out that he's a younger principal, that he just got out of school. He's like, I don't know why I have this job. I just got out of school, like high school, like 2 years ago or something, but college, I don't know. They almost make it seem like it was high school or college, I don't know. But the kid's like, yeah, it's okay, because, you know, the last old principal, he didn't cry or swear in front of me, so I like you. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm doing a hell of a job. But this first issue was just absolutely incredible. And basically, you know, the girl gets to town, and she seeks out, she straight up all the missing kids. First, when she walks into town, there's just a huge poster of missing kids, and a police officer's like, you know them? And she's like, you could say that. I think there's going to be a lot of suspicion put onto her at one point for some reason, because if people aren't going to believe that she's a monster hunter, obviously, there could be some trouble coming her way. But yeah, she seeks out James, and she tells him, you know, give me the full gist on what happened, and, you know, I will believe you. And he does, and she's like, you got a monster, kid. You got a monster in the woods, and I'm gonna kill it. I'm here to kill it. And man, it just gets so dark. Basically, that basically ends the issue, because I don't want to go too crazy and show too much, because I want you guys to be, if you haven't read this already and you're checking this video out, I really would like you guys to check this out. It is a fantastic story, and I would highly recommend it if you're any type of horror fan. That this is the book for you. I think if you're a James Tynion fan, this is the book for you. Issue 2, it goes a lot deeper into the family, one of the families at this point of one of the missing girls. And it goes into the brother that is and the brother and the mother that are dealing with the aftermath of the cops kind of starting to ignore them and not give them anything, not have any information on them, because at this point I think they're saying she's missing, but the mother's like, no, they're just saying that she's dead. How could she be missing? But all the others turned up dead. The son's like, we can't think like that. She's out there. She's like, I love you for saying that, but you don't know what to say, so just go to work and get your mind off it. And it was really, this issue I really enjoyed when I first read it. There's a part though where it's a lot lighter of an episode issue, where it's not as dark as the first issue, the art wise, but you get a point where it looks like not everybody can see the monster, because he's like, is anybody there? So he doesn't see that. So I'm wondering if only kids can see the monster. I'm not sure, but that would be weird, because she can, the girl, the monster hunter, she obviously can see him. I don't know how that works. That's something that I'm interested to see where that goes in issue 3. But it just so happens that the brother of that missing girl, he works at this Applebee's or this restaurant, and that's where the girl, the monster hunter, the girl, and James decide to shack up, and they decide they're gonna figure out what they're gonna do here, and they end up looking kind of making themselves look a little suspicious, because one of the waitresses tells the brother that that's the kid that survived, and he wasn't really giving info out. He was kind of not telling the cops what they wanted to hear. That's kind of suspicious. That's not his sister. I don't know who that older girl is. That's kind of weird. So he should, and as they're like plotting out where where the people that lived they are missing, James is like, I don't know where this one was, and he's like, I can tell you, that's my house. And she's like, oh, you're the one of the missing, that's your sister? He's like, my deepest condolences. And then it gets a little heated, because he's like, what the hell? And he kind of snaps on her, and she flips it on him, and she's like, I don't want no trouble, and I'll leave. But it was just a fantastic issue, fantastic art. He says, like, I can show you, I'm her brother, and he's really suspicious, and he wants to know answers, and nobody's giving him. And James is about to kind of speak up about the monster, and she's like, James, shut up. And he's like, what? He's getting suspicious, like they have something to do with it. So man, I really cannot wait to see where this issue goes. I know it was supposed to only be like 5 or 6 issues, and then it got, like, right after issue 1 came out, like, or even before, I think they changed it to that it was going to be a maxi. So I think it might, or it's an ongoing. So it's either going to be 12 issues now, or it's ongoing. Either way, I am totally in for this book, and I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think about this book in the comments. If you've read it, if you haven't, let me know if this is something that would interest you, because I am a big horror fan, and I really enjoyed this book. I love James Tynion's work. Werther Dell'Edera and Miguel Muerto, I know they're on the working on the arts, or on the pencils and colors, and they've done a real fantastic job, I'd say. This is one I'd highly recommend. It's coming straight out of Boom Studios. These are independent titles that they need recognition, and these are books that if you're not picking them up, they'll get canceled, because these studios, they're not going to just keep pumping out books like Marvel can. They're going to drop. So this is something that I think that a lot of people are checking out as is. So if this does pique your interest, definitely give it a check, because I know it's definitely gone to a couple of extra printings, second, third. So yeah, check your local comic shop if you haven't picked this up. If you guys hit that like button, if you guys hit that subscribe, and be on the lookout for all my upcoming videos. And Wednesday, which is tomorrow, I'm gonna try and get my weekly comic book pickups video out. If I don't get it out by Wednesday, I'll definitely have it out by Thursday morning. So be on the lookout for that too, guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.